You know, pro wrestling can be a cruel, cruel business. And what we've seen within the last 8 to 9 days has been nothing short of wild. Um, Last Friday, we had 24 talent that were released from their contracts, including some from NXT. And the notable ones were obviously Aleister Black, Zelina Vega, and Kairi Sane and the Wyatts. Yesterday, we had two names that departed from WWE, and I was shocked to find out that these two names had left. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. This is an 18 and I think a 16-year veterans, respectively. I thought these two were lifers in WWE. I thought these two were absolute lifers. How can you have a tag division without the New Day? You can't imagine a Monday Night Raw without the New Day. But when the New Day were probably one of the most over things in WWE at the time, I expected these two to be them two to be lifers, as well as Big E. But obviously, E's now retired, and the failed heel turn of the New Day, which we were anticipating for a good long time now. I will admit I'm very shocked because, according to Brian Alvarez, New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods only signed a new deal last year with a 7-figure contract. Whereas TKO asked New Day to lower their contract, they just said, "Fuck you, we're out of here." Is TKO secretly trying to rake every penny out of WWE? TKO is seemingly killing this company that we once loved. Now, we thought it was bad when Vince McMahon was around. We knew releases were always going to come in when Vince McMahon was around. But these releases under TKO have been nothing but brutal. I remember sitting, when I was living at home with my parents, I used to there for WrestleMania 35. And I watched Kofi Kingston. We were in Kofi Mania. Kofi Kingston won the WWE Championship from Daniel Bryan, now Bryan Danielson, in the best match of the night of WrestleMania. Kofi Kingston won the WWE Championship. They had some of the best feuds with the Usos. Remember 2017 with them and the Usos, and they had the Hell in a Cell match? Do you not remember those matches? I do. That's when tag team wrestling fucking mattered. Let me tell you this. AEW are licking their lips right now to bring in not only the Motor City Machine Guns, but to also bring in the New Day. Do you not think Tony Khan has got his wallet open and say, "Listen, boys, how much do you want?" You think of the match that the New Day will have in AEW. They could face FTR. And this time we'll get a better match with FTR. About the time where FTR were fucking completely buried in WWE. You're going to have the Young Bucks against New Day, even though they always said they wanted to face the New Day. And also, you can have Edge and Christian now against the New Day. It's quite frankly unbelievable, man. Tag team wrestling in WWE is literally dead and gone. All I can say is, but the tag team division is just unify the titles. Just unify them and just end the brand split. That's all I can tell you. Is when you've got Gunther, a Raw star on SmackDown, and when you got Jacob Fatu, a SmackDown star on Raw, end the brand split. Just end the brand split. That's all I can tell you. I wish nothing and a thank you for Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods for all the memories, the great tag team matches that we've had. But how on earth did you drop the ball with the New Day's heel turn? This is where we were excited. We thought this is something new with Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. They had, I think, that last pay-per-view match was WrestleMania last year against the War Raiders. And the match that didn't even need to be on the card. We could have had the TLC match that was on the SmackDown following. We were robbed of a TLC match, and we had a match between the New Day and the War Raiders. Tongaloa. My God. What a waste of a signing. Tongaloa returned in 2024. He was previously in NXT and also the Camacho or whatever his name is. I completely forgot. He went to TNA. He was a part of the Rising. That was with Drew McIntyre and also with Eli Drake, a.k.a. LA Knight. Went to New Japan and formed the Guerrillas of Destiny with Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga came to WWE and then Tongaloa followed. Now, before I want to carry on the rest of the video, I am extremely under the weather as I'm recording this, so I want to apologize if my voice is terrible. So, and if my nose is running a lot, I sincerely apologize. Tongaloa, I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. It felt like every time he wrestled, it was always going to be a disaster. It always felt it was going to be a disaster. The writing was on the wall when he made his return and when he botched the low blow on Kevin Owens during that tag team match with Solo and Tama against Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. The writing was immediately on the wall. So Tongaloa, I think he'll end up going back to Japan, and I think he will do quite well for himself. Jeff Cobb. Oh, my God. With Jeff Cobb, people know that Jeff Cobb is in his 40s, but I don't think the WWE fans know how actually good Jeff Cobb is. But in my personal estimation, I think WWE signed Jeff Cobb, I would say, 5 years too late. When he was killing people in Lucha Underground and when he was killing people in New Japan, that is the opportunity to bring in Jeff Cobb. He would have been, I would say, a Vince guy. He would have been a Vince McMahon guy. I tell you that now. But I don't think Triple H knew what to do with him. I do not know why they brought him in if they did not have any creative plans and they put him in the fucking MFTs. They changed his name. Doomed. He had 4 singles matches. And that was it. Jeff Cobb didn't even last a year in WWE. There's various locations I think Jeff Cobb will end up. He'll get work straight away. I think AEW may be a good option, but I think he'll go back to Japan. Because then he could do a dual contract. You obviously do the Forbidden Door with AEW. No matter where he goes, I think he's going to do great. I think many people have not seen how good Jeff Cobb truly is, especially in his days in Lucha Underground. Now, before I get into my main topic, and obviously, like I said, I've been covering this so much as the Kairi Sane situation. There was whispers about a return to wrestling for a sassy Southern belle, Lacey Evans. Oh my God. If you guys remember when she was in NXT and got called up way too soon, Do you know why she got called up way too soon from NXT? She had 2 massive hoo-has and a big 2 cheeks. She had no wrestling ability. She was awful in the ring. She was seemingly forced down our throats by Vince McMahon. Remember the rivalry with her, Baron Corbin, and Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch when we had the man's man gimmick by Rollins and it was terrible? WWE repackaged this woman so many times. And every time it was a fucking disaster. If Lacey Evans returns to wrestling, I will be gobsmacked if the WWE re-sign her. They tried the Sergeant Slaughter gimmick. They tried a gimmick in 2021 where she got impregnated, so apparently it was going to be Ric Flair's kid, which would have been an absolute embarrassment of a storyline. And it was even whispered that she was going to win the women's championship that year from Charlotte Flair. Did you not know that? And I think that's where Asuka won the women's championship, or Sasha won the women's title, and Charlotte Flair was left off the WrestleMania card because of the pregnancy of Lacey Evans. If you'd have had Lacey Evans winning the women's championship, it would have been an absolute disaster. There is no way on this earth that WWE will bring back Lacey Evans. Is TNA a possibility? Sure. Would Tony Khan consider giving her a chance just to put her in Ring of Honor? There's a chance. Maybe a run on the Indies, but WWE, I just don't know who's going to be employed or who's going to be unemployed on the WWE roster right now because I do not know what's going on with the product. Now, my top topic. You know, I've been tracking through this Kairi Sane situation. Kairi Sane is one of my favorite women's wrestlers. I have adored this woman since the Mae Young Classic. When she won the Mae Young Classic, got signed to NXT, she won the NXT Women's Championship at TakeOver Brooklyn 4, and I am not afraid to admit to everybody, I was in tears. Because that woman is fucking fantastic. Called up to the main roster, got paired with Asuka, which I didn't mind. And then she wanted to go in 2020. Now, this is something I want to point out for you. When WWE let Kairi Sane go back to Japan in 2020, did you know that WWE at the time's under Vince, and Vince did a package for her because how much she meant to that women's locker room? And we hate that man. Vince McMahon is still the most hated man in WWE, but you got to give Vince credit on that he made a video package for Kairi Sane, someone who is beloved by all of women's wrestling. She went back to Stardom, came back in 2023. She re-signed in August, I think. It was just before SummerSlam. She returned at the Crown Jewel pay-per-view in the middle of, I think it was Io, Bianca, and Charlotte for the Women's Championship. She reunited with the Kabuki Warriors. She was in the midst of an 8-month storyline where she was involved in an abusive part with a story with Asuka, which was going to lead, obviously, to the match between Io and Asuka and Kairi to finally break free and Kairi to turn babyface. But what did WWE do and TKO decide to do? They released Kairi Sane. You release this woman and she's right by a storyline. Now, ever since Saturday, We Want Kairi has been trending all over Twitter. This has been going on for 8 days in a row. At WWE, that's stupid. Now, on Raw, tomorrow night, they've got a part with Asuka and Io having a sit-down to talk about their problems. How are they going to talk about the problems when the integral part of the story is not with the company? What is it? Oh, who's the best? Or is Oscar going to turn babyface after the match? What is the point in the match? What is seriously the point in this match now at Backlash? There's no story. Absolute no story. So within the last couple of days, every post that Triple H has been putting on Twitter of "We want Kairi, bring back Kairi Sane," and the Kairi movement. Every post, "We want Kairi" was trending number 2 in the world, in all of the United States. At one point last Saturday, we had a crazy day of football. We had a game where the 2 top teams were fighting for one title, and Kairi Sane was trending more than that massive game that we had on the last weekend. So, if WWE listened, they would bring that woman back just for one night of Backlash. Let her finish the story. If she wants to go back to Japan to wrestle, that's fine. So what's the sit down going to be on Raw tomorrow night? Is it going to be, oh, I bet I'm better than you, Asuka? No, I'm better than you, EO. What's the point in the match? There's now no story. If this We Want Kairi movement is going to continue going into Backlash, that match is going to get hijacked. It is going to get hijacked. And if this segment with Asuka and EO is not live, then WWE took the coward's way, because they know that will be hijacked with We Want Kairi. WWE know it, and they are absolute cowards. TKO is killing this company. And for every release that WWE is doing, AEW is getting stronger. The independent circuits are going to get gems on their roster. Japan is going to get gems. If we get R-Truth 2.0 at Backlash and Kairi Sane does return at Backlash, I'll be amazed. I said on my last video, I think we've been worked. But the fact that WWE are now trying to make it look like Kairi Sane does not exist is deplorable. If they knew that she was going, why didn't they have the match at WrestleMania when you've got Danhausen and a crop of midget garbage with The Miz and Kit Wilson, when no one gives a fuck? For me, the Kairi Sane movement has literally been crazy, man. And do I still think there's a slight bit of hope of Kairi Sane coming up Backlash? I would say 20% chance yes, and 80% chance says no, because TKO just don't care about the fans. Triple H used to care for the fans, but Triple H is now literally TKO's bitch. Nick Khan is TKO's bitch. WWE is going to die a slow, painful death, all because of Vince McMahon wanted to sell the company to drag his way back into power when he just did not have the common decency to hand the family business down to his children and his son-in-law so they can take his business from there to bigger heights. But no, he wanted to sell it to his friend, R. Emanuel. It's just crazy, man. It is absolutely crazy. Now, on top of the Kairi Sane situation, I hope that WWE will reconsider, because there are every post that Triple H had on the WrestleMania video he recently dropped was hijacked with We Want Kairi. Every post, even if it's about AAA, We Want Kairi. SmackDown, We Want Kairi. I can make you a promise. Going into Backlash this Saturday night, that Io and Asuka match, they're going to put on a great match. Of course they are. But do you think that they're going to care? I think they'll care for each other, of course. Damn right they will. But do you think that they're going to give a shit about TKO? No wrestler there is safe. No wrestler in that company is safe. And I would not be surprised if there is a mass walkout soon. I guarantee you. Now, I've had some people thinking that some talent have been released so they can bring back Kairi Sane. I think that's not true. I don't think that's happening. Would I like Kairi Sane back in WWE just to finish the story? Yes. But is it going to happen for me? No. Because TKO don't care about the company. All they care about is how much revenue and how much profits they can make, so they make it look like that they know what they're doing. TKO do not know what the fuck they're doing. They don't care about UFC, and they don't care about WWE. It's as simple as that. Anyway, that's my rant done for today. Make sure that you are going to be watching Max Wrestling this upcoming Thursday. Me, Captain, and El Jefe, Moses Marquez, we are going to be doing our Backlash predictions. We are going to also probably talk about the departures of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, and also we're going to talk about Jeff Cobb and Tonga Loa situation. We always talk about every promotion. We talk about AEW, we talk about WWE. I'll take you through NXT, and King of the Mic starts this Thursday. So you unfortunately may be a bit too late to start King of the Mic, but Trivia Takeover is coming very soon. If you want to enter Trivia Takeover, you are very welcome. Just join the Max Wrestling page on Facebook. I'll put it in the comment section below. Join us. We've got a new debutant coming in. And also, we got Aftermax as well, which is led by our own guy, Corey Cypher, the legend himself. He does Aftermax as soon as the show finishes every Thursday. Scan and go after the show when the podcast is on. Anyway, I'm out. TKO, fuck you. Triple H, fuck you. Nick Khan, fuck you. Laters.